Real estate licensees must abide by a wide variety of rules and regulations. They're closely monitored by regulatory agencies in their jurisdiction, and there are established disciplinary actions for violating licensing and other laws. There are a lot of laws for us to follow as real estate professionals. And you may be curious as to why real estate agents are regulated so closely. If you think about it, though, the reasons may become apparent. All real estate transactions have common characteristics. First, in residential transactions, the buyer and seller are usually making one of the most important financial decisions they'll ever make. Second, both commercial and residential transactions usually involve brokers or agents who facilitate the transaction for one or both parties for a fee. And third, real estate transactions encompass complex matters like financing, transfer of ownership, or application of real property laws or transactional customs that are beyond the experience of the average consumer. For these and other reasons, states and the federal government have established rules that promote consistency and fairness in real estate transactions. They also protect individuals by ensuring the competency of real estate professionals. This regulatory oversight also has the effect of making sure that the rules of the game apply equally to all participants. Having regulatory agencies and systems helps accomplish the following goals. They establish initial qualifications, ensure ongoing competency, define responsibilities and expectations, and provide consumer protection through ongoing enforcement. But it does something else as well. It provides transparency and fairness for both licensees and the public. Let's talk for a couple minutes about providing that transparency and fairness. While many private industry associations do establish their own internal ethical standards, educational courses, and marketing support programs, having governmentally authorized regulatory agencies provide more transparency to everyone. Generally speaking, government regulatory agencies are subject to mandates that guarantee the open and fair administration of license laws. This ensures that every licensee is treated impartially and with a level of transparency whenever real estate regulatory bodies act. This also allows the public more insight into how the agency is performing their duties. Through their basic composition, many regulatory agencies provide for some of this transparency. Oftentimes, they're made up of experienced industry veterans who may either serve as direct decision makers or in an advisory capacity to the actual board. But just as often, agencies have positions within them that are specifically reserved for members of the general public. According to the NAR, these are, quote, members who are appointed to ensure that the general public has a voice in agency decision-making processes, end quote. Usually, when a person is appointed to these types of positions, they become subject to strict provisions forbidding conflicts of interest or unethical or illegal conduct. Other methods for maintaining transparency can be found in ways a regulatory body handles licensees who may have been accused of a crime or other misconduct and who now may be subject to disciplinary actions. Methods such as advising the accused person of their right to a fair hearing in advance of the hearing date, advising the accused of their right to representation, and specifying other protections against negative actions. Generally, these types of actions by a regulatory body are also subject to appeal to a higher authority or even a court of law. One area often not considered under the topic of transparency is that of how a regulatory agency creates rules for its licensees. In many instances, one of the limiting factors on the creation of these is that they're only applicable to licensees overseen by that regulatory body. This goes hand in hand with the regulatory body having only the specific authority to create rules in specific ways. According to the NAR, another way regulatory bodies maintain their transparency is by having provisions for open meetings and open records directives. These allow members of the covered industry to verify laws that the body is remaining answerable to its members and that the members have the right to examine and even take part in decision-making. Finally, the NAR makes clear that above a regulatory agency, there will still be legislative or governmental bodies that the regulatory agency must answer to. This would be through direct participation in the regulatory agency by individuals from the oversight body, or maybe through specifically timed or impromptu reviews. Transparency in real estate regulatory agencies is critical to fostering trust with not only their licensees, but the general public too. It's also central to the larger objective of protecting the public.